Hello, hope you are doing well. Welcome to this podcast of the Weapons of War, and I'm your host Eden Tronde. Again, talking about Bank of Uganda's move to curb the cash withdrawal limits starting January 1st next year, 2027. Also, that applies to the value of the checks. They're also going to be further reduced from 10 million shillings to 5 million shillings. But what I'm here to debunk is one of the fallacies that has been sold, that actually Bank of Uganda is only following what the public wants. That is such the public that have demanded for these digital services, and therefore Bank of Uganda is only following our lead. Since they announced these new policies to kick off next year, they have argued that in one of the posts they said 93 out of every 100 shillings in Uganda already move electronically. That's what they said. And they added that the question is no longer whether the country is going digital. It is how well our rules keep pace. So the country is already going digital. Today, nearly all payments, both volume and value, are made electronically, with mobile money accounting for about a quarter of transactions. This isn't a shift we are forecasting. It is a preference that Ugandans already settled on. That is Ugandans that have already settled on this. Therefore, it's not BoU leading the way. BoU is only responding to the market forces of demand. This is from a statement, again, BoU posted on Thursday, June 4th, 2026, regarding the reduction in the value of the checks. They stated, the post they put on their X page, they said, you, the customers, have spoken. You prefer digital payments, and checks are on the decline. Checks have fallen in the last 6 years from 14% of the transactions we clear each year to 6%, reflecting a move to digital payment channels. This is why we are reducing the limit of on checks between banks. So over and over, the Bank of Uganda has told us they are only responding to what we've asked for or what we've preferred from what they are saying back end, what the data is showing them. But what if I told you that that's a lie, that somewhere, somehow behind the, the, the scenes, there have been invisible forces that have engineered this move? I'll first quote you this. In the book Propaganda by Edward Bernays, which was published in 1928, he stated this: the conscious and intelligent manipulation of organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of organized habits is an important element in a democratic society. That's what he stated in his book Propaganda, published in 1928. And he continued thus: those opinions, those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society, constitute an invisible government. So there's an invisible government that manipulates this unseen mechanism to engineer our tastes and habits, to shape our opinions and habits. And he continues and stated, we are governed, our minds are molded and tastes formed, and our ideas suggested largely by men we have never met. So certain of these tastes and preferences that they talk about, that, oh, I prefer this, they are usually engineered or orchestrated by forces behind the scenes. They're the ones who engineer these kind of moves. But today I'm here to reveal some of those forces that have engineered this digital move, and now they are coming back to tell us, no, it's just the people that have preferred it. Yet they have been working secretly behind the scenes, at times overtly, on the surface, to engineer this move. We shall start with this clip of the founding director of the Better Than Cash Alliance, Ruth Godwin. She was the managing director from 2012 to 2023. Here is what she had.
We have to achieve the SDGs in 10 years. I'm going to talk about that, but with a quick introduction to the Better Than Cash Alliance. We're hosted by the United Nations, and we are an alliance of governments and companies and international organizations that are each committed, each has to commit before they join the alliance to moving away from cash to some form of digital option. We've got to solve this problem, and we have to solve it because we care about achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Did you know that every single government in the world has committed to these? Every single government to agree to these. The government of Norway, the government of Australia, the government of Ethiopia, the government of Rwanda. And the timeline is 10 years from now.
From her video, you see that the Better Than Cash Alliance is a UN alliance agency. That's the first place. And it's an agency that constitutes all an alliance of governments, companies, and international organizations that are all committed. Each is committed in this alliance to moving away from cash to some sort of digital option. So these people start somewhere. Governments of and nations of Norway, of Australia, of Ethiopia, so many all are in this alliance. International companies are in this alliance, multinationals, international organizations in this alliance to moving away from cash to some sort of digital option because they have to solve this problem of cash. Why is cash a problem? Cash, they say cash is a problem because they cannot, this is the truth, they cannot monitor it. When you get it off the grid, off your account, off your mobile money, they cannot monitor what you're using, your money, and they cannot control you. So what they want is all of us to be in these digital systems where they can monitor and surveil us and how we use our money, and therefore also control us, control how we use our money by programming our money, which I've talked about over and over. They program our money to decide for us what we can buy, where we can buy it, when we can buy it, the quantities we can buy, the jurisdiction within we can buy. That's what they want. They want to control. Now with cash, control is hard. So they come up with all these flimsy reasons why cash is, we need to move away from cash, why cash is evil, why cash is a problem. You've had the letters of, so all these organizations have been working hand in hand to ensure that we move away from cash. So while they're working back in, they come back and tell us that those are our tastes and preferences. They are not. And I'll prove to you some multinationals that have been involved in this shift from cash to digital system. This is a business series newsletter by the Better Than Cash Alliance. It was published in June 2018. These are quotations from some of the CEOs. This was the Unilever CEO from 2009 to 2019, Paul Polman. This is what he said. While governments adopted the Sustainable Development Goals, they alone cannot deliver on them. Global businesses like ours now have a huge opportunity to harness the power of digital payments to drive financial inclusion. Global businesses are also apparently harnessing the power of digital payments to drive global financial inclusion. They are also involved in this shift from cash to global payments. At Unilever, we've seen firsthand how digital payments can empower individuals, micro and small businesses, and communities in the world's most marginalized settings. Ultimately, that strengthened our own businesses and inspires our people beyond measure. That's what he said in that quotation from that newsletter by the Better Than Cash Alliance. And there is another, this is the current chairman of H&M, who was the CEO at the time, 2009 to 2020, he was the CEO. This is what he said in that newsletter. Carl Johan Persson, he said, 65% of the people employed in H&M's group supply chain are women, many of them with limited access to financial services. By promoting digital payments of wages, we also promote better working conditions for them and equipping them with tools to build a better life for them and their families. So you see, they are engineering this. Even the corporations are part of this. They are introducing digital or cashless payments in their value chains. Value chains, I mean, in the processes of the people that work for them or serve them or they are in cooperation with as businesses. You get, so this one said all the employees, they are part of this. They initiated them into these digital systems. And when they take on the digital systems, these very entities come and tell us, no, it's the people that have preferred it. It's not us that have engineered it. But you see that it's them that engineer this and these moves and even orchestrate them and make policies. And then when people take them on there, they deny that. I mean, it's the people that have, asked for that. But then we need to ask ourselves, so what has our Bank of Uganda been doing? Have they been just seated watching the rest, take on this cashless move? Of course not. We look at like in 2021 when the value of the check was reduced from 10, 20 to 10 million shillings. Uganda banks now reduce check value limit to 10 shillings. That's the point that came from Bank of Uganda. But then they say, so when people then leave the checks and go into the dictator system, they say, oh, no, 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 it's the people that have preferred. No, it's not the people that have preferred. It's these guys that are engineering the move towards dictator platforms. Then they say that this was in April 2020, April 25th, 2025. Again, the deputy governor, Dr. Augustus Nwagaba, who was speaking at the Accountants Gallery in Entebbe, attending the third annual Public Finance Management Conference. He said, and this when he announced a shift from physical currency to digital money to reduce the costs associated with cash. He's talking about a shift because cash is expensive to print and issue. That's the reason he said. So there is a move towards that. So if there is a move towards that, what does that mean? That they are putting in place measures to ensure that people prefer or people lean towards digital payments or digital transactions. And in Feb, this year, he was appearing on one of the TV stations. He said that the digital movement is inevitable. Inevitable. We have to move. Whether you like it or not, the world is moving towards a digital finance. So who is pushing the world towards the digital finance? Why does it seem that it's inevitable? We all have to move. It's because of what the founding managing director of the Better Than Cash Alliance stated in the earlier clip I played, that they are working in cohorts. They are working hand in hand. Governments, organizations, agencies, global, they are all working hand in hand to move us from cash to some sort of digital options. And then our deputy governor says it's inevitable, we have to move. It's by force, whether we like it or not. And then he also said on that same show that at Bank of Uganda, we no longer have checks. We have moved fully to e-payments. Now, if a bank makes such a move and then people start, adopt the e-payments, and then the bank comes up with research to say Ugandans have preferred digital payments. No, we have not preferred digital payments organically. We have been nudged and pushed and coerced and seduced into the digital payments. And you think our own organizations here have been seated, not doing anything? Well, they are changing the lives of Bali farmers through blockchain. This is a company that works with farmers up country to grow the raw material that they use in their products. And they say they introduce them to blockchain, digital payments. And then there's this one, I also picked it, over 18,000 smallholder farmers to benefit as UDB launches digital finance solutions. Uganda Development Bank launches digital finance. So even these banks, even these companies are also in the same move, introducing these digital transactions, digital payments to the people they work with in their value chains. 18,000 smallholder farmers. And then look at this. Last year, the Chan tournament, paying for the tickets was cashless. Who introduced that? Was it a preference of the fans? No, it was dumped on them. And then guess what? When they launched the electric buses in Kampala this year, they said to pay the fares, yes, cashless. You have to use mobile money or perhaps any other form. It's cashless. You see the policies that these organizations or the companies are also introducing and dumping onto the people. Now, if all these people paid for Chan last year using digital means, they are paying for the e-buses today using digital means. Then what are you going to say? What will research say? That most Ugandans now prefer digital means. No, you force them on. You force the digital means on the Ugandans. And then there is the parish development model, what also went cashless. Yes, Post Bank and them in Uganda passionate to digitize parish development model payment with the launch of Wendy Digital Wallet. Even Airtel was part of it. To digitize it that people not cash. Now this money dispersed by the government, to villages, up country, to so many people, and they are also being brought into this, digital prison. And after they say, no, 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 it's the people that have preferred the digital system. No, it's not the people. It's the government the organizations, international agencies working hand in hand to ensure we move away from cash to some sort of digital payments. And you remember when the airtime scratch cards were banned. Remember? Yes. And now, how do you transact to get airtime data and everything? Dicto. Dicto. And you, and then what will research say after that? Research will obviously say that many people are now using or transacting using dicto payments or e-payments. But was that organic? That's the question. The very people that engineered it back end now come back and tell us that it was organic. No, it was not organic. It's like this player who goes on seducing a girl, giving her gifts, leaves, favors here and there. And then after getting whatever he wanted, he turns around and says, no, 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 no. For me, I was only following her lead. I'm not the one who initiated this. I was only following her lead. Yet he's the one who seduced her into his traps. Now, BoU and all these agencies are seducing us, the population, into this digital prison. And after they say, no, 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 it's not them, it's not them, it's us who are leading the way. For them, they're only following. Don't fall for that. And then, lastly, a time is coming when having cash over a certain threshold will also be punishable and it will be illegal. They will say having cash over a given, say if they say you cannot have cash over 500,000 shillings and you have more, it will be punishable. I'm not forging this. There was this interview by Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank, that she did a couple of years back, perhaps two. She was asked, how can switching to electronic currency help? How can switching to electronic currencies help? Now you'd think that her answer is going to be how it can help the populations, how it can help us, the people. This was the answer. Now we have in Europe the threshold above 1,000 euros. You cannot pay cash over 1,000 euros. You cannot pay cash. If you do, you are on the grey market. That's the black market. You are on an illegal. It's illegal. You take your risk. You get caught, you are fined, or you go to jail. That's what she said. If you prefer to use cash and you have this cash on you, now you could go to jail. Those rules are also coming. They're in the offing. Now they are using incentives, a bit of nudging, but then they are going to bring out the stick. So it's going to be a carrot and a stick as they try to get everybody into these digital systems. And after they will say, oh no, it's been organic. It's you, the people that have asked for it. We are only responding to your tastes and preferences. No. They are engineering these tastes and preferences. And like this gentleman said in his book, Propaganda, we are governed, our minds are molded, and our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. In this episode, I've exposed you the men that are responsible for engineering our tastes and preferences in regard to the shift from cash to the digital payments. So let no one ever kid you that that all these statistics they are reading, that is us that have preferred this digital shift. Please never fall for that. Let no one lie to you that it's the people it's us that have preferred this shift. It's been engineered. All right, that's it for today. Let me leave for you this clip of Christine Lagarde so that you may watch for yourself. Till next time.
You're introducing the electronic euro, as I know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
How can switching to an electronic currency help?
Now we have in Europe this threshold above 1,000 euros. You cannot pay cash. If you do, you are on the grey market. You take your risk. You get caught, you are fined, or you go in jail.